Hey everybody, welcome to Best Defense and AI to be able to help find and fix security vulnerabilities for your business. It's specifically designed to be able to help augment your team's work operational overhead decrease. It will help reduce alarms or alerts in your system by 90%, 85% mean time to resolution reduction for vulnerabilities, as well as 90% reduction in scoping and attack surface analysis through a Vortex pen tester system. What you can see here is a fairly high level dashboard. You can have all the different teams that you create be broken down so you can segment resources or visibility into your ecosystem, either per team or per location. You can also be able to see all of the different targets that you want. It's not just web domains, but it can also be devices on your network that you want to be able to run assessments against. It's fairly straightforward, but it's a high-level overview of the latest reports, as well as I think about a 2-week breakdown here for your risk levels. Being able to set up to run a report is fairly straightforward. You come into the site's ownership page. Basically put in whatever domain that you own. It will run you through a DNS text record verification process, which is fairly straightforward. Once you've loaded in a resource, you can either bind it to a VPN. So if it's like an internal asset, or you want to be able to establish a connection to your on-prem facility, you can always configure your VPNs, as well as be able to manage specific routes that you'd want to be able to run through the assessments for a given target. But running a report is fairly straightforward. You're able to come into the wizard, select the specific target that you want to be able to run a report against. It will load in all of the different routes or endpoints that you can run the assessments against. You can also do targeted scans. So if you want to test a specific endpoint or test all of them, you can just select that, leave it to the default. You'll have some additional reporting options around active or passive scans. Passive scans are usually recommended for anything that's considered a production level environment. As the aggressive scans will actually run valid exploits against the system to be able to verify that it is in fact actually an issue. We do have the ability to run AJAX scans, so that's basically if you have like an SPA or single page application versus traditional websites, we can run assessments against those as well. Once you have selected your testing type, whether it's your web application or you want to test your APIs, you can set up different users for different lenses and access levels. So let's say you have 10 different types of users for your application, including like internal staff. You'll be able to set up all those different user profiles through the system, and you can basically run the assessment through all of those different lenses at the same time, which is cool. You also have the ability for authentications, either form-based, you can do JWT authenticated, or you can supply your own Puppeteer scripts. So if you have social logins or more complex workflows, you can set up your Puppeteer scripts so that it can automate the authentication for your application as well. Once you've selected a given option, we also have the ability for our advanced tiers and enterprise accounts to run AI-enabled pen testing. So it runs through all of the playbooks like a human would, or that you might have experienced in the past going to a third-party vendor to run your assessments. You can select how many max iterations, how many tests deep that you want the AI system to go, how verbose you want the system to go, and whether or not you want the temperature level to be more conservative or experimental, which just basically, creates guardrails or bumper rails for the AI system to either kind of pick a lane or be allowed to wander around. Again, once you've selected the test users, if that applies to it, you can just click next. You'll see a final report screen. And here you can either run a report immediately, add it to a scheduler, or you can always run these assessments in a completely automated way using our API. So if you want to set it up for your CI/CD workflow and change control. So if you run an assessment before you push any changes to production or to any of your other environments, you can always do that. And the added benefit is that once it's done, it can make automated pull requests against your code base to fix any of the security vulnerabilities that it finds, so that you can have your developers go in, do a normal review, and it would be just like if a human made the changes. And that's we run through 4 main phases. You have the reconnaissance phase, vulnerability scanning, exploitation, and reporting. And it's just as it sounds. The AI system will run basic commands to be able to detect what type of target it's being pointed at. No man behind the curtain. It will show you all the commands that have been run by the agentic pen tester with the reasoning behind the commands and what it's expected to find. It will also show you the console output. You can see everything that the AI system sees as it's gathering information. Once it's done going through the reconnaissance phase and it has enough confidence to know what type of target it's being pointed at, it will run through a vulnerability scanning phase, where it will be able to then run the assessments. Once it finds vulnerabilities, it will immediately go through the exploitation phase, where it will attempt to actually exploit the vulnerabilities that were found to be able to, again, increase confidence that, yes, this in fact is a real issue that you have to worry about. And it will also show you the output for that. So in this instance, there was a SQL injection vulnerability found, and then it actually went through to actually dump database information through the SaaS product, which is obviously not a good thing. So being able to prioritize real critical issues for your business is extremely important. And we take all of that into account to be able to prioritize the fixes that go through the remediation pipeline. It will also show you all of the output for specific custom commands that it's generated. And you have the ability to see the Python code that was generated for the specific custom attack, and be able to have your developers basically use that to reproduce any of the issues that have come out of the pipeline. And once it's done, you'll see a table similar to this, where you can apply filters here for the table to be able to bring it down to just criticals. You have the ability to create individual issues for all the different tasks. The page will slide out. You'll have the ability to, in this instance, is attached to Jira, so you can select which boards that you want the ticket to be assigned to, any components that you might have, or any assignees. You can add it to your specific sprint or give it to a specific team, and put your estimations for maybe any fixes that you might have to have for human review. Once you create the ticket, it will look just like this, and it will link back to and it can have any and all meta information as well that's been attached to the specific issue. So if you have some like AI remediation guidance, or you have additional notes, can always be added to that. You can resolve the issue with one of three ways. You can either get AI recommendations for a specific issue, in which case it will attempt to give you remediation steps or more information about a specific issue. You can chat with the AI CISO specifically and maybe ask it, how does this map to compliance controls, if you have any questions about that, or based off the context of your system, if you want some additional information about how to fix it, you can engage directly with the security copilot. And you also have the ability to do a one-click fix. So once you click the fix, it will go through the remediation pipeline. Once the system has analyzed your code base, it will be able to do that root cause analysis, and it will be able to ship developer-ready pull requests. In this instance, the system understood the language and the underlying technology to be able to just simply swap out unsanitized input to being able to use parameterized queries, which has sanitization built in under the hood. Be able to click the corresponding pull request for your development team, and it will also link back directly to the ticket that was created for it, as well as part of the comments. And you'll be able to just go in, see that what changes were made, and be able to give your reviews. And if you have existing smoke or regression tests, or if you have some things like SonarQube hooked up, be able to see what the output is for the pull request before you get that merged in. And the whole point of the tool is to be able to just help make resolution for security vulnerabilities just that much faster. And kind of like what you saw on the other page, we do have the ability to directly integrate with some of your favorite tools, like SonarQube, which we'll go over here. And in this instance, you just select your specific project that's attached to your SonarQube. You can see a whopping 9,700 issues were found. Nobody wants to go through all of that. So again, we've made great effort to be able to consolidate alarms so that you can be able to just make one fix to be able to solve multiple things instead of having to have your developers go through all of this, which is it takes a lot of time, right? So being able to come in, add a Jira ticket to it, just like we kind of saw on the other screen, or be able to just generate out the fix for a specific issue is a big deal. You get some additional information about the specific vulnerability, as well as the ability to send it through the remediation pipeline, which is as simple as clicking a few buttons. And then once it's done, you'll have the pull request ready to go for the application, just like you saw on the other screen. So you do have the ability to click fix all and just have it send all of the different issues through the pipeline and develop the pull requests. And your developers will be able to just go through and do the reviews on them like they normally would. So a lot of our customers are using this in a couple of ways. Some customers like to run this, once per deployment. So they'll run this system to be able to find any new issues that might have come out from new development. We have also some customers that choose to run this continuously against their systems to be able to monitor any potential changes that might have been made outside of the code base, like web server misconfigurations, .env file exposures, maybe there's remote code execution vulnerabilities that have appeared outside of the code base, and that some of our customers want to be able to make sure that they can run this continuously, have any new alerts go off if any changes have been made outside of source control, that they can immediately know to have to go in and fix that problem. So there's a couple other tools for this system beyond just the vulnerability assessments to be able to find and fix security vulnerabilities for the system. Some of the other tools are Security Copilot that exists built in to the system. So you can basically see all the different information of what's going on inside of your company and your ecosystem. You can chat with it, just like as you come to expect with a lot of different chat tools, but it's specifically trained on security issues and being able to help you map issues to compliance or be able to help your developers better understand the security issues or the impact that they have on your business, with direct links back to the MITRE website for additional information about a specific issue, or to OWASP or other industry leading sources. We also have our infrastructure resiliency testing platform. So similar to how Vortex runs, where you come in and select what type of target you're pointing at, you can come in here and you can select what type of load or infrastructure test that you want to be able to run against your network or your application sitting on your network. And we have some options for SaaS products as well as for telecoms to be able to run SIP load testing, be able to create connections to their network, emulate user phone calls and the like. And for web application or infrastructure like load balancer stress testing or network stress testing, you can essentially come in here and select the specific target that you want to be able to run the assessment for. You'll have the ability to run either recursive scanning if it's a distributed web application with a lot of different endpoints, or if you want to specifically test a specific target or endpoint, you can turn that off. You have the ability to originate traffic from 29 different regions. This list X functions as a whitelist, blacklist, so you can basically say, I want to do everything but a region, couple regions, or all regions, and this is how it will originate the traffic. You can easily select how many different virtual users that you want to be emulated running against your platform. We use real device emulation, so it will mimic real user activity going over your network and for your application. And you can select how many runtime hours that you want to be able to run the test for. So once this is all done, you'll have a simple review page where, again, you can run the report on a scheduler, or if you want to be able to run the test immediately, you can just click run. And I can show you what a test looks like once it's already been finished. So you can watch the test in real time. It will take a few moments for it to spin up all of the different infrastructure to be able to start running the assessment. But what you'll see is a basic histogram to be able to show you how your system is responding to the load test and if there's any failures, and at what point in time was the failures critical, and to see if your infrastructure was able to scale out as you imagined to be able to handle the amount of customers on your application. You'll see any inflection points that happened during the assessment, what regions had failures, as well as any specific endpoints that might not have been able to respond the way that you were expecting. So that your development team can go back in and say like, hey, this endpoint here was choking out our database and it caused cascading failures, or whatever might be affecting your application to be able to service your end customers. It's a fairly straightforward system. There's no weird magic going on. It's just putting stress on your system and showing you whether or not your application will be able to handle the amount of traffic that you're expecting, and or how resilient your system is to potential DDoS attacks from bad actors. So our customers are currently using this in a variety of different ways. Some want to integrate this directly into their change management or change control process, similar to the security audits, to be able to make sure that the changes being pushed out to production are able to handle the amount of traffic that they're expecting. Some are using this for much larger rollouts, once a quarter, if they want to be able to just stress test this a few times a year to be able to see how the system's able to respond to bad actors. But the amount of times that our customers want to leverage this is based off of what their SDLC or what the release cycle looks like, and can range from testing web applications to Web3 blockchain technologies and making sure that the transactions limits that they're expecting are able to actually go through their network and be able to service their end customers.